Welcome to today's exclusive webinar brought to you by the Chicago Treasurer's Office. These sessions bring together industry experts to share practical tools, insightful strategies, and essential financial resources designed to empower your business. Whether you're seeking guidance on accessing capital, exploring loan and grant opportunities, or strengthening your financial foundation, this series is your opportunity to connect, learn, and grow. Each webinar is curated to provide valuable knowledge that can help you overcome challenges and achieve your business goals. Today, we have Monica Rubio of Old National Bank joining us to discuss access to loan and grant opportunities. Get ready to learn and take your business to the next level. Thanks for virtually being here this evening. I'll pass it along to our speaker.
Good evening. I am Monica Rubio. I am a Senior Vice President, Community Lending Market Executive for Old National Bank, and I'm so excited to be with you all here this evening. So just to tell you a little bit about who Old National Bank is, we are a top 30 U.S. bank, 53 billion in assets, and we are an SBA preferred lender. We are committed to the communities that we serve through integrity, diversity and inclusion, and corporate citizenship. We are almost 200 years old. We were founded in 1834 in Evansville, Indiana, and we have expanded across the Midwest. When I say that we are a bank that's committed to community, we show up through volunteerism, corporate giving, and team member donations. So in 2024, we provided over 67,000 hours of volunteer hours. We donated $12 million in for nonprofit giving and assisted over 2,000 nonprofit organizations, and then had almost $682,000 in team member donations through United Way. You can go to the next slide. And so this is our footprint. We are over 280 banking centers across the Midwest and the Southeast. We are in 8 states: Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, Kentucky, Michigan, Minnesota, Tennessee, and Wisconsin. We do have commercial banking offices in other areas such as St. Louis, Kansas City, Detroit, Cleveland, Nashville, and Asheville. So I am going to go over our Empowerment Loan Program, which was a program that was created to increase access to capital. So again, as I mentioned, Old National Bank is committed to the communities that we served. This program was launched 2 years ago to help increase access to capital to minority-owned and women-owned businesses. So we focus on businesses that are have revenues less than $25 million and that they're 50% or more owned by either minority or a woman. Our preference is to companies that are in low to moderate income areas, but it is not a necessity. As this program was created, one of the differentiators from other programs that are out there that focus on increasing access to capital was the dollar amount. These loans go from $25,000 to $5 million. And the reason being is that we want to meet you where you're at and be able to grow with you. We want to help you to be able to scale in your business and to be able to expand. And so we know that access to capital in larger amounts is what's going to be needed as you continue to grow. You can go to the next slide. So I want to talk a little bit about the parameters of this program. So at Old National, the program came about as a conversation of why we did not have more minority-owned businesses and women-owned businesses in our loan portfolio. And so as we had conversation about that, one of the barriers that we've seen that differentiated minority borrowers from non-minority borrowers was credit score. So we know that between a minority borrower and a white borrower, that the difference in credit score could be from 57 basis points to 31 basis points. So because of that, we created a minimum credit criteria of lowering our minimum credit score to 620 versus a traditional conventional lending credit score of 680. The other thing that we look at in this program is we will look at tax liens and collections, and they will be evaluated on a case-by-case basis. So sometimes these could be due to medical, and so we would look at that again, asking for a letter of explanation if there is some of these instances with the borrower. Also, bankruptcy history and understanding the reason. We'll look back at a 2-year period, but with these bankruptcies, again, some of the bankruptcy exceptions that we have with our loans is due to medical and or identity theft. So in some cases, we've seen that individuals have had to file bankruptcy because of identity theft. The other piece of this program is the collateral value and the appetite for increased risk from the loan to value perspective. So the program offers a higher loan to value on the collateral. So for example, with a commercial real estate, we will loan up to 85% of the value of the property versus 75%. So this will help with the borrower only needing 15% down payment. The other piece of commercial real estate is through gap financing, which is provided through outside partnerships. So we've partnered with some community development financial institutions, also known as CDFIs, to partner on commercial real estate deals where the CDFI will provide 10% of the financing. Old National will provide 85%, and the client could possibly get into their own commercial real estate for 5% down. On equipment, through this program, you are able to borrow 100% on new equipment and 90% on used equipment. So this helps with, again, credit score, and this also helps with the amount of cash that has to be injected by the borrower into the deal. So again, understanding that cash flow might be a little bit tighter for minority-owned and women-owned businesses, and that there may be lower credit scores, which this helps solve for those issues. The next slide. So there are 3 products that we offer through the program, which is similar to the products that we offer conventionally. Working capital lines of credit, where again, we are more flexible with the loan to value. So we will loan up to 85% on the accounts receivable, and that would be over a 60-day period. The inventory, we would also loan up to 60% on inventory for working capital lines. The other piece on working capital lines, we typically only go up to a 15% max of your gross sales. So for example, if you were providing on your tax returns generating $100,000 in gross sales, the maximum line of credit would be $15,000. On commercial real estate, again, as I mentioned, we do loan up to 85% loan to value, which is capped at $3 million. And then the other thing that we're able to do through this program, the Empowerment Loan Program, is amortize up to 25 years versus 20 years, which helps with the payment and helps with the business cash flow. Equipment finance terms. Again, as I mentioned, that we will loan 100% on new equipment and 90% on used equipment. The other piece to help with cash flow and debt service coverage will amortize on new equipment up to 10 years and on used equipment 7 years. So as I mentioned, the Empowerment Loan Program was started 2 years ago to help increase access to capital to minority-owned and women-owned businesses. This started as a 2-year program with a $50 million target, and we started in just certain areas. So we lend in Indianapolis, Evansville, Chicago, Minneapolis, Milwaukee, Louisville, and Nashville. I will say that over the last 2 years, we have lent the $50 million. The pilot has been extended for another 2 years and another $50 million. I will also just share that through the pilot of the $50 million that was lent, we have helped 140 businesses secure additional access to capital. Of those businesses, 40% of them have been African American owned businesses, 25% Latino owned businesses, 25% women owned businesses, and 10% Asian owned businesses. 37% of those loans have been issued in Illinois. And again, as I mentioned, we have extended this program for another $50 million and another 2 years. And so I'll go over a little bit, how is the program different? So this program has a separate process than our traditional conventional lending processes. This program helps empower our relationship managers, which are lenders, to continue conversations with individuals that they might not have been able to have these type of conversations with previously due to credit score, down payment, and cash flow. So the other piece is that we have a dedicated team that helps find businesses that would benefit from the empowerment loan. And then when we underwrite these deals, we have a dedicated credit partner. So we have one person that reviews all of these deals. Some of our peers have similar programs, but what happens with the program is that it's delivered to all of the underwriters within the company. And so those underwriters might not touch those deals on a regular basis. So it's hard for keeping consistency with the approval process. We, again, as I mentioned here at Old National, we have one dedicated underwriter to the program. This individual has 30 years of experience in underwriting and understands the goal of the company, the goal of the team, and is looking for solutions and how do we help get the client to cross the finish line. Go to the next. So as you're hearing about the different parameters that we created, right? We expanded our credit parameters to include more minority and more women-owned businesses. And so at this time, I just want to highlight a few of the businesses that we were able to help. So this client, Plebeo Trucking, Inc., was issued an empowerment loan to be able to purchase his truck and his trailer. He went from leaser to owner-operator. When I talked, Mr. Sierra is his name. When I talked to Mr. Sierra about what an impact the empowerment loan made for him and his family, he shared with me that what he used to make in 3 years as leasing a truck and being a driver, that he was able to generate that same revenue in 1 year, which the impact on his personal and business life just was very life-changing. His wife no longer had to work. She was able to stay home with their children, and they have their oldest daughter getting ready to go to college. And so that alleviates a lot of stressors that they had previous when he was working for someone else. The other piece of it is that we considered alternative collateral that made the funding approvable. So unfortunately, the collateral wasn't sufficient for the loan, but we were able to take a second position on his home in order to strengthen the deal. Even though there wasn't equity in the home, just us being able to take a second position helped in getting this deal done. I recently delivered, we've had empowerment receptions across Illinois over the last year, and I was up in Waukegan, and I had the opportunity to talk about Mr. Sierra's. And when I chatted with him, I wasn't able to talk to him because he actually was in vacationing. And so he said he was able to take a month off on vacation. And so we were very excited that through the Empowerment Loan Program, that really it's been transformational, not only for his business, but for his family, and impacting also in the community. I'll talk a little bit more about Caitlin, who owns Cheesecake Co. Through the Empowerment Loan Program, Caitlin was able to move out of her home and expand not only into a fully operational commercial kitchen, but had the opportunity to add retail storefront. And this access to capital allowed her to target more client acquisition. She's doing online. She was able to join us at our DeKalb Empowerment Reception and just talked about how this has changed for her and her family, being able to turn a dream, something she was passionate about, into a reality. She had been in the food restaurant industry for the last 15 years. She was selling cakes out of a restaurant that she worked at, cheesecakes out of a restaurant that she worked at. And many people started asking where these cheesecakes from, which got her into thinking that she could start this business. Now with the empowerment loan, another a differentiator for us is that we don't say that when you go to a financial institution and looking for to start a business, right? And it's a startup. A lot of financial institutions want you to have been in business for at least 2 years. Well, in this situation, Caitlin hadn't been in owning a business for the last 2 years, but because she had been in the industry and had, proof that she was generating income through working in the industry for the last 15 years, this was something that we were able to provide the financing for her to get into her own space and not partnered with the restaurant that she had worked for the last 15 years. So again, these are some of the differentiators for our empowerment loan program that we're helping get people the access to capital that they need to grow, expand, or to even start the business from their home to an actual storefront. And so this QR code on this page right here will take you to Old National Bank's landing page that tells you more about the Empowerment Loan Program. Again, some of the highlights of the program is that this loan goes up to $5 million. That means that we want to start where you're at. If you've never obtained financing before and you're looking to start, then we will be here for where you're at. If it's at 25,000, but continue to walk with you as you continue to grow and strengthen your business. Again, the different loan types, we have a line of credit, equipment financing, and owner-occupied real estate. So this program, we are not able to secure with commercial real estate investment properties. It has to be owner-occupied businesses. Again, the eligibility is for minority-owned or women-owned businesses with revenues up to $25 million. I will also share that through our program, 75% of those 140 businesses are businesses with revenues under $1 million. So they are smaller businesses, which we're very excited to be a small part of their story in being able to scale or expand their existing business. Now I'll go over, if you're thinking, what do I need to get started? And, is this going to be easy? Is it going to be difficult? I'm going to go over the checklist. So we do provide a checklist. We work with many organizations that help you get your finances in order, with many SBDCs, obviously with the City of Chicago, the Treasurer's Office, that we were part of the Build Your Wealth Summit that is offering workshops and resources to organizations that are helping businesses. We believe that this is a holistic approach that we want to help in all areas to, again, get your business to where you want it to go. So some of the requirements for existing businesses, we need 3 years business tax returns. If you have less than 2 years, you want to bring all the business tax returns you have, and then also your personal tax returns. We're going to need your personal tax returns. And if you've not been in business for 3 years, we will need 3 years of personal tax returns. Your interim financials, so 90 days of your balance sheet, your income and cash flow statements. We do require that you fill out a personal financial statement. We provide that template for you. And anyone that owns 20% or more of the company has to fill out a personal financial statement. And then the total project costs with sources and uses of funds. We also have templates for that if you don't have that prepared already. A complete debt schedule. That also we have a template if you don't have something. So that's just all of the debt that you have personally or for the business. And then any of your organizational documents. So that paper, the list is on the second page, and then an updated business plan. And again, as I mentioned, some of these SBDCs and small business hub incubators help you prepare a business plan. So it's really important that you do have a business plan. Requirements for new businesses. We do need, again, the personal financial statement that needs to be completed for anybody that has 20% or more. Again, the total projection costs, sources, and uses. We do have all of these templates. Sometimes some of these, the terminology and some of the documents, it might get a little challenging, but we do provide these if you don't already have them in your business plan. A completed debt schedule, and then your organization's documents, a business plan with your financial projections. And then so the organizational documents that are required, the current status from the Illinois Secretary of State, your articles of incorporation, the bylaws for the company, your tax ID number, your NICIS code, and a certificate of assumed name if you're doing business as. and that's for corporations. For the limited liability companies, current status at the Illinois Secretary of State, articles of organization, the operating agreements, the tax ID number, the NICIS code, and certificate of assumed name if you are operating as a DBA. And then sole proprietorships, your tax ID or social security number, and the certificate of assumed name. Also, if you're operating as a DBA. Again, this is the QR code that will take you to the empowerment landing page on Old National's website. From that QR code, you can email me directly. My picture is attached in that website, and you are able to contact me directly from that site. I appreciate all of you joining here today. I tell many businesses that the owners, you are my unsung heroes. I know that it takes a lot of courage to own your own business. I work for Old National, and I don't own the company. And so when I leave work at times, it's not something that I have to continue to think about. I'm not thinking about my employees. I'm not thinking about the so many things that I know business owners have to think about and carry a lot of weight about those things. So I say you owners are some of the most courageous people that I've ever met. And so when this program came about 2 years ago, I joined this team to champion the Empowerment Loan Program here in Illinois, Northwest Indiana, and Michigan, because it truly has been transformational for business owners and helping create generational wealth, helping with the wealth gap in the communities that we serve. And what I've been tasked to do over the last 2 years is to create awareness, not only for the small business owners, but also for my partners here at Old National, so that they could be empowered to continue to identify businesses that could utilize the Empowerment Loan Program. And so I appreciate you all being here. You could have been a million other places, but you chose to be here and hear how Old National Bank can help you with financing. So at this time, I will stop for any questions that you may have. So the question, does the type of business matter for the program, and can multiple of my businesses apply? I guess more specifically, what is the type of business? So we don't do real estate investment. So if that is your business to do real estate investment, we do not do that type of lending. But we do work with, I would say, more discouraged industries. We have identified that many minority-owned and women-owned businesses are discouraged industries. And so our portfolio is very diverse. Daycares we do service. I will tell you that this last year we were able to help many daycare owners, one, either move out of their house and move into a lease space, or two, move out of a lease space and move into their own commercial real estate for either the same amount they were paying for rent or a little bit more in some cases, but it gave them more space and they were able to grow their business. So if the question is, do I have a list of those CDFIs? So the process, if you're looking to get into your own commercial real estate for the 5% down, the process would be to start with Old National, and we would bring in the partner. that would work on the deal. And so a couple of CDFIs that we work with here in Illinois are Allies for Community, the Chicago Community Loan Fund, the Women's Business Development Center. And those are just a few of the partners that we work with currently. You mentioned commercial property does not qualify for this program. Does this include a duplex where the lower level may be used for event space and the upper level is apartment building? Commercial real estate investment property is what we don't utilize. But for example, I'll share with you. So we were able to help an insurance company that owned a commercial real estate property where the entire bottom floor was the insurance company and upstairs were 2 apartments. And so in that sense, over 50% of the space is utilized for the business. And as long as the rents are not needed to cash flow the deal. So meaning that the business income is enough to cover the cost of the mortgage. Any other questions? Well, again, this is my contact information. If you do have any additional questions and you would like to reach out to me directly, please feel free to email me. And would we do a loan to hire staff? So a lot of times working capital lines of credit are utilized for payroll. And so if you're hiring additional person and you're looking to have sufficient funds for payroll, it just depends on what the collateral is. So the loans, as you're growing and expanding, if it's because you need to hire additional staff because you're bringing on more contracts or additional work, you would just have to show that in your projections. And then what it would be is a line of credit to cover payroll until you're getting reimbursed through the contracts that you have. Well, again, thank you so much for being here this evening. And I hope to hear from many of you again, or to meet you soon. And as you send out an email, I would be happy to meet virtually or have a conversation over the phone to see how we can get started with growing your business.
It's time to build wealth. Get ready for the 5th annual Building Wealth Today for Tomorrow Financial Empowerment Summit. Returning Saturday, October 4th to the UIC Forum. Gain the tools you need for financial success with expert-led workshops on financial planning, home ownership, investing and entrepreneurship, money management, and more. Hear wealth wisdom from inspiring celebrity keynotes. Are you ready to transform your financial future? Register for free at ChicagoCityTreasurer.com/BWTT. One day, one location. endless opportunities. See you October 4th at BWTT. Mark your calendar and register today.